Straight to Canberra now. We'll be with our commentators shortly, but first here are the national anthems.
Ladies and gentlemen, the flower of Scotland, the national anthem. Wonderful work, Sean. Well played indeed. Now I'd like to introduce Mr. Milko Fungo Lachey. And of course, he is a Sydney French-based entertainer. Ladies and gentlemen, the French national anthem, La Marseillaise. Allons entendre la patrie, le jour de gloire est arrivé. Contre nous de la tyrannie, les combats sont élevés, les combats sont élevés. Entendez-vous dans les campagnes, fugitifs et farouches soldats, ils viennent jusque dans vos bras, égorgez vos filles, vos compagnes, aux hommes citoyens, formez vos bataillons, marchez, marchez, qu'un sang impur arrache nos sillons, marchons.
So your commentators in Canberra for Scotland against France are Tony Ray and Ben Crowe.
Scotland and France have gold in their sights as they kick off Pool 2 in Canberra. With a strong Fiji side waiting in the wings, the loser tonight may struggle to reach the semi-final qualifier on the Gold Coast. The French start favourites with a lineup including 12 current Super League stars, among them 9 Catalan players who contributed so much to the Dragons' third place Super League finish. Among them there, Thomas Bosk, who's had a sensational season in Super League 13. For Scotland, just one win in Australia would surpass their previous World Cup exploits, and a team containing 4 NRL first graders could inspire the Bravehearts to upset the odds. The referee tonight, Leon Williamson of New Zealand, he will be assisted by the video referee, Phil Cooley. Just checking, and we are underway in Canberra. Scotland with the first possession of this opening first half. Dean Colton to have the first hit up immediately. Rinaldi in there quickly. Henderson, that is Ian Henderson, one of 3 brothers who played together for the first time today. And a massive hit there on Scott Logan early on. The French are fired up for this. Scotland just want to get the ball away from their own line here. 3 in the tackle though for the French, and Ian Henderson, who's had a phenomenal season with the New Zealand Warriors down under, directing operations for acting half-back there. That's Duncan McGilvray. It's Paul Jackson, who felt the pressure there of Jerome Guisset playing in the second row tonight. Ian Henderson back for Danny Brough, and Brough punches a kick over the French defence. That's a great kick from a difficult position from the Scotland captain.
And that's what this game's going to be all about for Scotland. It is all about Danny Brough's kicking game. It was a wonderful set defensively from the French. The Scottish team only made 15 metres, but they've been turned around completely by the great kick from Brough. They would have been thinking about putting pressure on him early in the game. They've tried to do that, but unfortunately for Scotland, this is what you don't want to do when you've got a good kicking game, and the whole of the French team was probably 30 metres back behind that error, and they've come up and given a penalty away. And sometimes you think the referee's getting himself into the game. It looked a little bit harsh in the opening part of a World Cup. It's a tough penalty to give away, but now they've got to do some defence of their own.
John Duffy, the guilty party, came in as the third man in that tackle, and that's why the French have possession 5 metres short of the halfway line.
It was interesting talking to the Scottish players this morning. They took a lot out of what Papua New Guinea did last night, particularly the first tackle, the gang tackle. They probably could translate that into their own first tackle there. Unfortunately for them, it's been a penalty.
Of course, Papua New Guinea, the outsiders last night, they were ahead at half-time, and Scotland will want to do the same here against the favourites, the French. And they go over halfway in the shape there of Guisset. Good tackle from Morrison on Olivier Elima. That's given the French contingent some heart in this crowd. Good work from Ian Morrison early on. Rinaldi with a measured kick. Grubber kick, it bounces easily though for Michael Robertson. And Michael Robertson has real speed, the Manly flyer, 3 tries in the grand final, but he's given possession away, and France have a great opportunity now to attack the French line. That was Maxime Gressek. 3 in the tackle there for Scotland. Have to really be vigilant in defence. Teddy Sadoui with the run. This is Adel Fallouz. The Widnes Vikings, of course, Fallouz. This is Rinaldi of the Harlequins. Muniz, short ball. Important tackle there from Danny Brough. Third for France. 5 metres short of that Scotland line. Paul Jackson with an important tackle on the captain, Jerome Guisset, and Rinaldi loses the ball. Referee Leon Williamson signals the knock on, and a promising move for France comes to nothing.
Yeah, very promising situation for the French. And it was an important knockdown. He took his time there, Rinaldi. And the effort and the energy there from Jackson's got out and forced that error. It's an important one. Just to the naked eye, live at the game, the Scottish just looked a little bit overcooked in that set. They've come out defensively and chased hard, given that penalty away. And when they were defending their line there, they looked very laboured. It's important not to get too emotional. They're very emotional during the anthem. Sometimes from the highs comes the lows, and this is a handy penalty. Very handy penalty. They should take their time here, Danny Brough. Get his team downfield.
Huge discrepancy between the World Cup record of these two nations. France, runners-up in 1954 and 1968. Scotland, after competing in the 95 Emerging Nations World Cup, they began playing in the 2000 competition. Internationals started in 1996, and in fact they will play this is their 20th international, Scotland, as Steve McCormack watches on there, the Scotland coach. His team 5 metres short of halfway, and Scott Logan gets them over that halfway line. A local boy, Scott Logan, the English Super League has seen him in the past with Wigan and Hull. He plies his trade for Canberra Raiders these days here at the Canberra Stadium. Ian Henderson with a good run for the Scots. Now it's Paul Jackson, taken down by 2. Jerome Guisset and Eric Anselm with the tackle. Jackson plays the ball. This is Danny Brough. It's going to be a raking kick. Testing that French defence. It's far too strong though, and France will restart on the 20-metre line. Danny Brough acknowledging the error.
He lost his own way a little bit inside of that set when Henderson got them a bit excited. There's a good sign for the Scottish people. They're going to have to watch him from dummy half. Henderson's been outstanding on the prime hookers right, the playoff series in the NRL. And he read that ruck particularly well. That's you do want to get at the French. If you can get that ruck loosened up and get those big forwards being turned around, because the Scottish pack is small. And so they need to be turning around the French pack with a kick game and with a good tight dummy half running game to keep themselves in the ball game.
Probing run there from Justin Murphy. This is Rinaldi on the back of that, over halfway for the French. Morrison effects the tackle for Scotland. Now it's Gressek with the kick. Good kick as well, because Michael Robertson more centrally positioned there, and Robertson it is who starts this counter for Scotland, immediately met by Eric Anselm of the Leeds Rhinos. Good defence again on show from the French. That was Sebastian Raga with the number 4 jersey.
The discipline, they're known for being a little bit of discipline, the French. It'd be interesting when we go to the replay here to see whether this was a penalty. The referee's having a major influence early, and it's really playing into... It looked like he's gone a little bit. It's ended up high, but it did bounce off the arm. He's a touch unlucky there, Adel Fallouse. The referee is keen to keep this game clean. He set his own tone early on. The Scottish players do look very tired, funnily enough. Only there's an error. That's what happens when you're tired. And that's what happens when big men are hitting little men. And Ian Morrison's come up with one in collision. It's a good effort from him. You're going to have to be smarter and tighter than that in this game.
With the span, Ian Morrison surrenders the ball on the first tackle for Scotland, and France with some good territory and possession now as a result of this knock-on.
Well, that was a rake, wasn't it? It looked like there was a hand in there, so he's been a touch unlucky, and I've been a touch hard on him, Ian Morrison. The referee had the same view as us there.
Get on.
So they're going to have to deal with this one. This is a great chance for France early.
Can the French profit from that decision? Great tackling though from Danny Brough. He shot out of the line there. That was a good hit there on John Wilson. 2 Super League opponents in opposition there, of course. Elima plays the ball. This is Rinaldi, and now the captain Jerome Guisset going down the short side, met by Patterson there. Rinaldi inside this time. That was Gressek handing on for Adel Fallouse and flips the ball out, and the only person in attendance there is Ian Henderson, and Henderson immediately gets Scotland moving again. Dean Colton on debut.
Big error, big chance now from Scotland to get some game momentum. They really do want to get into the attacking area and see if Danny Brough's kick this time can be more challenging and more contestable.
This is another debutant. Gavin Cowan played the ball there. Ian Henderson finds Scott Logan. Good offload smuggled out to Danny Brough. Duncan McGilvray further wide is Kevin Henderson. This is promising from Scotland. John Steele. Inside is Duncan McGilvray. Pulled down by Rinaldi. Elima in there as well for France, and I think both of those players have sustained an injury in that tackle as play continues. This is Paul Jackson now as Rinaldi tries to get to his feet. Scotland within the 10-metre zone. Danny Brough, the danger man, with a spiralling kick to the corner, was allowed to bounce there by Teddy Sadoui. Unfortunately, from a Scottish point of view, not in the right direction, but Scotland showing real attacking verve there.
And also showing that it's all going to be about Danny Brough. On the left-hand side, Danny Brough got the ball on the right and kicked to the corner. It did look dangerous. And this is the kick, and it was a wonderful kick. It was well weighted, and if the catcher had been having his eyes on the ball and contesting that more, which is the skill he has to have, they were every chance. But the left-hand side was way open for Scotland. They're going to overplay Brough. They're going to miss some opportunities.
A scare for France, but after just 2 tackles, they're over halfway already. That's Guisset who plays the ball for Rinaldi. This is Eric Ansel. Tried to get the offload away, and maybe the French being too ambitious in possession, not respecting the ball, and Scott Logan now charges forward for the Scots. That won't please John Money, the French coach.
It's a hard task coaching the French, because that's in them. That's their strength and their weakness. They'll play, they'll chance things, they'll try, but you just wonder whether early in the game that's the way to go. In fact, you know it's not. You're better off getting the opposition weak, working them downfield. We see another penalty. Looks like Oliver Lima. He thought there was only one in the tackle. We'll go to the highlights and see whether that was right. But nevertheless, there was a penalty in the game, shifting now towards Scotland. It wasn't square. That's a penalty for not being square. Absolutely correct penalty. That's all discipline. That's not unlucky. That's get square, then get out and put pressure on the dummy half. As we see a blood bin call there for the captain, Guisset.
Elima just coming to terms with that decision. Looked for a moment, even from a long way out, as if Danny Brough was shaping up to go for the 2 points, but he's driven a kick just into touch over on that far side. Well, that is a fantastic kick from Danny Brough. The margins, not a lot there. Could have given possession to France, but this is a great platform now for Steve McCormack's men.
It's been touched out there, Ben, by Murphy, who jumped in the air. He's hooked that one. He didn't hit it clean. He's got away with one here. He didn't mean to put it down there. Murphy just gets a fingertip on that. You can see the touch judge giving the adjudication to the referee. So it's a scrum feed and a great chance here for Scotland.
This is John Duffy with the possession, and on the very first tackle, Michael Robertson spills the ball. That was a hugely promising opportunity for the Bravehearts. Maybe he was just looking at that defensive line coming out to him.
Well, it's been a while since they played, hasn't it? That's just a timing error. His mind, there was as much a mental thing as a physical thing. He was thinking about the play in front of him, excited. Key playmaker for them, Robinson. His contribution's obviously important. He's been talking about a lot inside the camp. He's been a key to what they're going to do today.
Emulated St George's Eddie Lumsden and Brisbane's Steve Renouf with that grand final hat-trick, Michael Robertson. This is the French fullback, Jared Taylor. Rinaldi for Felous. Big collision there with Ian Henderson.
Well, he's starting to have too big an impact on this game, this referee. I think we're 11 minutes in and the penalty count's just getting outrageous. You just would like to see it get a little bit more opened up. It was 4 offside. He was great collision there from Henderson, the little man. Kept himself tight on the ball even though there was a big man coming at him. So now it's France's chance to go.
France find themselves in that Scotland half in the shape of Greg Muniz. Rinaldi. This is Thomas Bosch, and the ball dumped back, and again France, their own worst enemies, trying to force the pass. It is a French trait in their style, and there could be more problems. Injury and back play.
As we go to a break for this injury, look, the basic principle is you've got to build pressure, you've got to earn pressure. And this is just not the way to do it. That is forcing, that's trying to put the opposition under pressure without control. The best way to do it at this point in the game is just to take that ball forward, take the hit, make the next bloke, make them do the whole set of 6 tackles, probably put one in behind, put pressure on them. They're just keeping Scotland in the game. John Mooney will be, he's got an easy half-time talk at the moment. It's about control, it's about putting pressure on the opposition.
The former Wigan coach there, full of concern for Eric Anselm, who has stayed on the ground here. 1 or 2 concerned back at the Rhinos, of course, as well. This looks like a serious injury for Eric Anselm.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
it was Gavin Cowan who made the tackle.
And the Australia-New Zealand match.
It's that head, the left-hand side of his head. You just watch his head gets a little bit of whiplash. You can see it bouncing off the ground there, so definitely won't have enjoyed that when the neck brace comes on, which is not surprising.
France hosted the inaugural 1954 World Cup. They beat New Zealand and drew with Great Britain to reach the final. They were beaten 16-12 by a Lions side led by a Scot. That was Dave Valentine. In that match at the Parc des Princes. Concern on the French bench as well.
Looks like Christophe Molly will be the player who stood beside the trainer there looking to come on.
Certainly a neck injury, the brace applied. A lengthy stoppage, but that's exactly what is required in this situation.
Surprisingly quiet, the French in back play. The Scottish players are really getting around talking about what's happened there, and the French players have just stood there and are resting. So you can see Christophe Molly be his first turns to enter the World Cup now. Not the way you'd want to, but certainly his job will be to get a little bit more control into the game, a little bit more that's been happening in the opening part of the game.
13 French caps already for the 26-year-old Christophe Molly. The stricken Anselm has just one less at 12 appearances for his country. Lifted onto the stretcher there. Concern on the Scottish faces as well. As Christophe Molly prepares to enter the field of play.
This becomes a tough set for Scotland. It's a very dead period now. The game's gone flat. The French will be rested up. They are now starting to talk to themselves a little bit in back play and get a little bit organised with a lot of arm waving, a lot of talking there. So again, we're going to think about that. We're going to be talking about it all day, I guess, but that Danny Brough kicking game in this set becomes important.
Is the stoppage helpful to Scotland in the sense that, I think you mentioned, Tony, that there's fatigue maybe setting in?
Well, actually, I thought, funnily enough, that went out of their legs because of the French error. It became irrelevant. France kept continuing to give away penalties in the opening couple of plays in defence. James Wynn on the sideline there with Remy Cusky. But I thought when those penalties and those handling areas went, the Scottish players were able to lift, and the con job there to the Scottish team is that that's the speed the game's going to be at. If France can tidy up, I do think Scotland look like they would be the team that would struggle. There's a wonderful round of applause comes out around the stadium. The sympathy for the injured player. Tremendous spirit around the World Cup. There's a really good buzz when we came into the stadium. People are really enjoying the fact that it is here in Canberra.
John Duffy, Ian Morrison among those applauding. And let's hope that neck injury for Eric Anselm is not too serious.
Well, that's what I mean when it's a hard play after a stoppage like that. The carrier there, Jackson, knew he was on a hiding to nothing. He just had to wear that. Had to be a good pass to him. That was something that didn't make it easy for him. It was very much above his head with defenders coming at him. The French line was really coming up. So here's a good chance for the French to just get some control into the game. And can they do that? That's certainly not the way to start. The referee's blown again, sorry.
It was a terrible pass from Julian Rinaldi. I think he'll be relieved that the official there, Leon Williamson, has brought play back.
It wasn't down here, though. Getting here too slow, mate. You've got to get in quicker and let your hooker get in.
The referee is happy now, and so France in possession from the base of that scrum. Rinaldi gives it to Sebastian Raga, faced by Morrison and John Duffy. Rinaldi finds Fallouse. Strong run from Fallouse again. And John Duffy, his teammate, effects the tackle, or former teammate I should say. Fallouse, a previous Widnes Vikings player, of course. This is the captain, Guisset. Rinaldi. That's Maxime Gresek. And a short pass to find John Wilson from Thomas Bosk. Wilson's kept hold of the possession here. Rinaldi using the short side again. Bosk finds Jared Taylor, and Taylor is close. Desperate defence from Danny Brough. Rinaldi. France maybe can sense something here. This is Jerome Guisset spinning into the tackle there of Jackson.
It was desperate defence from Scotland. It was terrific defence. They threw a lot at them there, the French. They were on their line, the Scottish team. They're entitled to defend that one, but they did particularly well. It was a terrific effort. They got themselves back on side real quick, kept themselves alive and worked well as a team. That's a terrific way to build into a World Cup. It's all right to chase your kicks and to run onto the ball hard, but when you've got to defend your line as a group of blokes that have only known each other for a week, that's a real litmus test. That's been the first good test, and well graded there from the Scottish.
Duncan McGilvray plays the ball. That's Ian Henderson. Good tackling comes in from Rinaldi.
Here we are. Good.
Was
Inside.
Logan, I think, who had that hit up.
Good 40-20 attempt there from Henderson, and clever way when you think about, we're all talking about Brough. If Henderson can do that, turn them around wonderfully. There's still 4 French forwards to get back on side, and the Scottish are on the front foot. Now, can they not give away a penalty and make the French get to a kick?
Come on. Good.
Sadoui dealt with that situation. This is Justin Murphy. Downstairs was Logan,
Hold. Go.
alongside Lee Patterson.
4. Move. 10.
Ragan plays the ball for Rinaldi. On his right is Adel Fallouse, and Fallouse charging through the heart of the Scotland defence. The support inside from the fullback Jared Taylor, and Jared Taylor goes in for the first try of the World Cup for France. Scotland cut to ribbons there through the centre of the field, and Jared Taylor, the debutant from Lesignan, puts
Adel
France
Fallouse.
4 points in front.
Wonderful play from Adel Fallouse. He's read that ruck brilliantly there. The big man saw how tired those Scottish players were. They're not coping physically, the Scottish. Logan was not onside. Fallouse just ran in behind the space where he was, tailed him down the middle. Taylor had the best view from fullback, knew exactly what Fallouse was thinking. Trailed it down the middle, and a wonderful start, a well-worked start. It probably comes back to the tackle after the injury. There's a wonderful tackle, forced an error, put the pressure on Scotland. And Scotland are just struggling to cope physically with this ball game. Important note there that the French got to tackle 4 at last. They finally started to, if they can continue to do that, the game's all they want to have with it. If they keep coming up with errors, Scotland will be okay inside of it.
Jared Taylor qualifies for the French through residency the Australian, ex-Cronulla Sharks and South Sydney. Got a couple of tries when Lesignan beat Pierre to win the French title earlier this year. And Thomas Bosc with the easiest of opportunities to improve that try from Jared Taylor. Bosc steps up then, surely a formality. And France, after 16 minutes in Canberra, take a 6-0 lead.
There you can see, it's almost laughable the speed of the Scottish team there, just around the ruck. It was well read from Taylor. It takes a good effort to read a play like that. Fallouse picked it, he was on site, and Taylor was behind him. Good teamwork there, and really important to the French. They got on the board early and took advantage of that. Scotland have made their first changes with both the front rowers coming off in Jackson and Logan.
France get possession from the restart then, and Fallouse charges in. That's a great hit on him from Oliver Wilkes, who's just come off the bench. Latest on the condition of Eric Anselm apparently is the lead star has mild concussion. Obviously an awkward fall, and they're checking his vision as we speak, is the word from Angela on the touchline.
No, it's not.
Yeah, they're enjoying the ruck now, the French. Forward pass. Referee's called that one. There's another French error. It's another reason that Scotland can stay in the game. Julian Rinaldi's bemused by that, and I must say, to the naked eye from up here, it did look an okay pass. Line ball, you can see that it was on the line. It was left his hands behind the line and arrived over the line, so you possibly see by what was given, but I thought it was possibly a tough call against the French, but they're going to have to deal with that.
Great opportunity now for Scotland then, as Brough finds John Duffy. This is Michael Robertson. Holds on to the ball this time from a similar position where he knocked on in that promising situation earlier. This is Dean Colton cutting inside, faced by Ragan, and it's Christophe Molly and the tackle as well. This is John Duffy. So it's a little dummy. Great angled run there from Oliver Wilkes. 5 metres away, the Scots. Can they reply? Ian Henderson. That's Danny Brough. Good ball. Lee Patterson. They're in the corner, Scotland, and John Steele replies for Steve McNamara's men. Second opportunity really in the French half, and John Steele comes up with the try for Steve McNamara in Scotland. They're right back in this match now.
Gee, it's a big play. It's wonderful play from Brough. Patterson's had a wonderful touch on that one. It's a terrific pass. Nice decoy lines. Patterson just showed it on the inside, which is a telling play. There was enough numbers there for the Scotland, which made it difficult for the French to defend. And that is so important, that try. It did look to me as though the French were going to be able to get away with it and get some momentum going inside the game. Of course, the forward pass error was ruled and the Scotland were on the attack, and it's important to take those opportunities. Last time they had a scrum down there, we saw the fullback Robertson drop and let these guys off pressure. This time he's caught the ball and they've been able to construct some attack for the first time.
John Steele, a former Borders Rugby Union international, also played Union at Northampton Saints. He's left a tough kick here for Danny Brough. The captain has that angle. It's looking good. It's a fantastic kick from Danny Brough. Well, the Bravehearts illustrating their nickname here in Canberra. Great try from John Steele. And Steve McCormack, I should say, must be delighted that Danny Brough has added the 2 from the touchline as well.
We saw the French score a try from halfway. Earlier than that, the Scots had defended their line particularly well to give Brough a chance to kick this goal. They had to come down and take their opportunity in defence. Now, the French have failed their first test of having to defend their line. That must be real encouraging to a bloke like Danny Brough. I thought Duffy was influential in the set as well. He set the play up to give Brough some space to work down that left-hand side. It's important that those two can combine.
The captain giving his team renewed heart with that conversion. 6 points apiece in Canberra.
Steve McCormick must be putting a little mental note that the French left-hand side, like I mentioned earlier when they went to a kick out the right side, that the French left-hand side looked depleted, and on that occasion they were a bit bereft again. So if there's something for them to talk about technically, it should be probably set up around the post and go at that left-hand area as much as you can.
Morrison played the ball. This is Oliver Wilkes for Scotland, taken down by Rinaldi there. Ian Henderson. This is Duncan McGilvray now. It was Muniz with the tackle. This is Wilkes again. Big hit there on Wilkes from Ellimer. There is Eric Ansell, looking better than 10 minutes or so ago. The word is that he is alert. It looks like mild concussion. And the doctor apparently is advising that Eric Ansell plays no further part in the match.
This could be important interchange happening now for the French with Jamal Fakir, a real explosive player, a real impact player coming on, and that's important. And Remy Casty's joined him. They've made their changes. There's Casty with the ball now. Terrific player, Casty. He can have an influence both with his skill and with his power. And there's Fakir backing it up. And you can just see the lift that it's given the French at an important time after conceding a try. It's driven them over halfway.
Come on, quickly, 16
And Thomas Boss should be able to... Ooh, he's gone high. Real tester.
It's a massive kick from Thomas Bosk, and it's picked up by Ragan. Ragan over the top for Maxime Gresek. And Gresek, a metre short. The penalty goes Scotland's way. He was offside. Maxime Gresek didn't keep the 10. That's what Leon Williamson is confirming.
At the end of the day, the penalty saved the try. That's the outcome of the result. But keep in the back of your mind that Scottish tackle off the back of this. He's got the ruling from the touch judge. It's a tight line ball. It's a terrific take. It's a great challenge. But look at the blue defenders. Look at the dark blue defenders there from Scotland. There's 4 of them. That means a lot. They're showing the enthusiasm and the energy that you need to compete, to be at the back end of this game. It's big points for Scotland. I think they're struggling, but their hearts are right in this, and that gives you every chance. And in fact, that's all you can ask of them after a week's preparation, to do it together and keep finding those efforts.
There are some brave hearts already out there for Steve McNamara's men. Here is Oliver Wilkes, driven into the turf by Remy Casty. Real Catalan super sub in Super League 13, and hoping to have the same effect for the national side tonight, Remy Casty. John Duffy plays the ball. Ian Henderson. Now it's Ian Morrison. Guisset effects the tackle there, alongside Molly. Danny Brough punches a kick in, and that's a great kick as well, and the French defence have fallen away, and Duncan McGilvray profits with the second Scottish try. It's not given yet. Leon Williamson has asked for the video official Phil Cooley's assistance here. 1 or 2 possible knock-ons, possible offsides. Duncan McGilvray doesn't care too much about that. He thinks he's scored, the Wakefield player.
Well, they're hanging around down here, the Scottish players. It's first off onside. That's the first question. And is there any suggestion? They looked onside. Yeah, they're all onside. The player on the inside was Robinson pushing through. He's okay. Now it's about the pickup. And is anyone pushed off? Oh, has Duffy touched that? Now that's what's going to be interesting. Or is it Robinson? It'll be about this hand here. Yep, touched it. No try. No try. Unfortunate there. That's fine. Well, it's the touch before that they need to be looking at. It's this one about to happen here. Did he touch that? Is that Robinson's left hand? I'd be surprised if this one's... He's already go back a bit. They need to go back a bit on that one to have a look at it. Terrific play from McGilvray if he's got that one down. Here it is. Which hand is that? Oh, that might be the French hand. Well, you've got to say that's a touch from the number 1 from Scotland. And there's 3 French shirts around there putting pressure on Robinson, which is the reason he does touch this ball. Here's the best angle we'll get of it. For the first time. Yeah, he's touched that. Just tipped off his fingertips. So Scotland are going to have to deal with that, I would assume. Wonderful play from McGilvray. Terrific pickup. To no avail, we would assume.
Turned 33 yesterday, Duncan McGilvray. It doesn't appear that he's going to have a birthday present to remember. He's awaiting the decision. The oldest player on the field at 33. Nice touch as well there, the scrum cap in memory of Adam Watine, who died so tragically recently. He is denied the try, no surprise there. Duncan McGillvray, the delight we saw a few moments ago, turns to despair.
Control.
It was an obvious knock-on really though from Robertson.
Yeah, it was the right decision. It hasn't been a real popular one. They seem to have got a lot of support here, the Scottish side, and there's a lot of Scottish people living in Canberra, and that's probably the reason why, because the French are usually so popular. One thing to note there was again that the Scottish side went to the left. The little kick was down the left, not to the right, as we'd seen in the opening part, and it did create a very close chance there. So some good little cues opening up in the game already for Steve McCormack to have a think and a talk about at half-time.
This is Remy Casti for the French. Now, Guisset, the captain, pulled down by Morrison.
Sorry, Ben, but if the French are looking for a cue, that's one there, where the try came from. It's getting good numbers and running tight on the ruck, and see if they can catch a slowly retreating Scottish defender. And there is a few of those around.
Gregory Muniz plays the ball. That's James Wynne, who's come on from the substitutes bench.
He stood out on the far side as they went down there. The touch judge pulled Wilson out for stepping out. Because it wasn't a kick, that's a handover on the last tackle. The referee's just called the play back. The players weren't quite set. Sorry, in the wrong position. Danny Brough runs over to take the right position. You can see
the ice applied to the neck there of Eric Ansell. That was Andrew Henderson for Scotland, and now Oliver Wilkes with a strong hit up there. Henderson, Andrew again. Morrison now. Tackle comes in from Christophe Molly. Andrew Henderson. Brough inside this time for Michael Robertson. A twist this way and that.
the Scots are really working over the middle. You can throw a blanket over them. They're just working at the ruck, which isn't a bad ploy. You can see Duffy's gone back at the ruck because it's getting late in the half and they're just chesting. Oh, it's opened up some space out wide.
Good angle run from John Duffy. This is Kevin Henderson in a promising situation down that Scots left-hand side. What can they produce here, Steve McCormack's side? It's going to be a crossfield kick here from Danny Brough. There's three over there chasing it, but that's great work in defence there from Teddy Sadoui. Had to be as well. There were three charging down on him. And the French winger from Carcassonne diffuses the situation.
He's handled that well, and a big part of the reason he's out there, Teddy Sadoui, is to handle those occasions. John Money said pre-game he's been looking for 3 years for some big outside backs. They don't get much bigger than Teddy Sadoui. Wilson's a big man. They're all big. They're big outside players. Sebastian Ragoon, of course, has dominated the Super League at times, playing from centre and played a lot of centre this season, so they've got the size thereafter, and now they've got an opportunity thereafter. They'll be able to get some field position, which has been lacking for the last few minutes for them.
Ian Morrison penalised here.
Morrison's played that as if it was a surrender tackle. You could see the legs almost going straight away from the French player, so a little bit unlucky there, but he was holding on for quite some time.
Seventh penalty of the match. Great ball there from Muniz. That's Thomas Bosk. This is John Wilson. French looking ominous again for a moment. James Wynne. Wynne examining that Scottish defence again. There's Chris Armitt in there alongside Henderson, and could they be over here? France, Christophe Molly, I think it was. Christophe Molly. It was Guisset, in fact, and Jerome Guisset awarded the try that puts France back in front here.
It's a good play. It was well worked. It was on the edge of that. It was set up play. It was one they were looking for. The Scottish players on the edge aren't the biggest guys, so the goal was to get the tall Jerome Guisset. He's got him matched up with Morrison. A lot of the Scottish eyes were on the ball. They didn't see Guisset. If they weren't on the ball, they were on the runner out just near the ball there, and the ball went across him and hit Guisset. That took some work to get there. It was a wonderful opening try for the forwards. Jerome Guisset.
The French skipper played here in the NRL for Canberra Raiders. More happy memories of the Canberra Stadium for Jerome Guisset tonight. Thomas Bosk looking to open up that 6-point lead now for France. Successful with the first attempt. No problem with that one either. John Monie will be happier now. His side ahead by 12 points to 6.
It's almost a little bit against the run of play. Did come from the penalty. It's just there's 4 Scottish defenders there. You've got to take your hat off to Guisset. It takes some doing, it takes some courage, incredible amount of timing, great concentration to be able to reach out and get the ball down under that pressure he was going into. That's a real captain's knock. He should be real happy with that one. And a nice time to do it, 10 minutes out to half-time. It's time to assert some control on the game.
Some World Cup experience for Guisset as well. Played all 4 games of the 2000 tournament. This is Remy Castille meanwhile. 3 of them in the tackle there for Scotland. Last one there, Oliver Wilkes, Thomas Bosk. That's Fallouse.
You can't underestimate the hold there from Fakir. He got himself in a position where he could have pushed it back, and they were pushing those passes early on, and now they're not doing that, and that's clever, and that's created this, a good chance to kick for some good field position, a 40-20 opportunity as well from Maxime Gressek, and he's got it.
Great play from Maxime Gressek. Real scourge of the Scots. Surge of many teams over his career with France. 20 internationals now, as that kick was perfectly weighted there.
A little bit debatable actually whether he left the field of play, tapped it back in there, and did the ball go onto the line. It was close, but at full speed from the touch judge's view, you could see why he would give that decision. And France have got a wonderful opportunity here to go back-to-back in terms of tries.
This is John Wilson, taken by Kevin Henderson there. This is Thomas Bosk, and Gressek again, back on the inside this time for Jamal Fakir. Chris Armit with the tackle for Scotland. 9 minutes to go to half-time. Maxime Gressek. That's Castille. The tackle there from Oliver Wilkes. France 10 metres away again. That's Bosk with a short pass. There's Muniz. James Wynne. Bosk retains possession. Is there 6 more perhaps for France? That's Fakir again. It's Sébastien Ragan.
What a possession here from the French. Big chance. Gressek's calling the ball out the back. They're looking for some deception play around about the goalpost. Bosk will take control of this one.
Sadoui went close, and now France examine the other side of the Scottish defence. This is James Wynne. Looked lively since his introduction. That was Molly who almost close there. This is Fakir. Patience from France. He's offloaded the ball as well. That's Gressek. Is there an overlap on this near side? Sébastien Ragan. The ball still comes out, and Gressek leaps onto that, makes sure the ball is his. This is the last one coming up for France. Thomas Bosk with a high kick again. It's gathered there. The referee will surely go to the video referee again.
John Wilson's been outstanding in catching these kicks off Bosk all season, so you would have to think that the timing will be right. You would think he would be onside. There he is, very line ball, but I would suggest onside. It's just whether anybody plays at the player. He doesn't. Wonderful catch from Wilson. Ooh, now he's dropped that. It's gone to his knees. Has he been able to regather this before it goes to ground? He's grabbed it on his knees.
That is incredible agility from John
Wilson.
Wilson.
He hasn't got it down yet.
Just to catch the ball.
It's got it there, yeah, that's a try. That should be given from there. It's a wonderful take. They've got an immaculate understanding, these two. And just you wonder now, the Scottish people are regretting not getting on that. You can see there's some jerseys around that could have just got in it after the catch there. in particular Oliver Wilkes. Now, he hasn't taken Brough out. His eyes are on the ball. He's playing at the ball. He's entitled to do that, to turn his back. I guess he's wondering whether Brough's foot has touched that, which might make it an aerial knock-on, and that Wilson wasn't in control at the time. That could be technically the only thing he would be looking at. Because from here, as long as it does take, he does get the ball down. Or does he get it down? He's struggling to get that ball down. That is down. So it's going to be given. You would think that would be given from there. And a deserved try, high skill try, wonderfully weighted kick, and an incredible catch from John Wilson.
The agility rewarded with a try for John Wilson as France take a 10-point lead.
Look at the timing of that one. Hang time perfect. Got rid of Brough by some good skill, keeping his eyes on the ball. Mr. Thomas Bosch, quick look out to check that Wilson was on. Wilson was onside, timed it well, went up there. We'll probably see a couple more of them this game. Whether they get the tries or not will be close, but they'll be always up there competing. Very important passage of play this leading into half-time. We've got an injury, of course, to Duncan McGilvray, who's leaving the field. He was on the ground for most of that set of 6, which really left the Scottish side depleted, and McGilvray would have been defending out there. Now Thomas Bosch lines up the conversion.
Thomas Bosch looking to improve that try from his clubmate there. John Wilson, not a problem. And a training ground move at club level bears fruit for the international side. There is Duncan McGilvray. Went off with an injury. The Scottish medical staff there having a look at him. They're hurt by that try from John Wilson. Former Parramatta and Wests player John Wilson. Try on this Catalan farewell match against Wigan, one of 8 he scored this season. Scotland restart.
For Duncan McGilvray there, it hasn't been surprising there's been a couple of those types of injuries. It's a very physical game. This is a World Cup. There hasn't been a lot of deception in the game. It's been a lot of this, is run hard, run straight, and run for your country and really rip in. We haven't seen a lot of short plays or technical plays.
Teddy Sadoui struggling in back play there. France on halfway with Christophe Molly. Bosch. That's Elima. Put down, driven into the ground. Good tackle as well from Andrew Henderson. Lee Patterson in there as well for the Scots. Gresek sends Michael Robertson back. Stumbles the Manly man for a second. He's taken the ball behind the dead ball line. This will be a dropout forced by...
Don't throw the ball away.
Well, last time Gresek, the man in picture there, last time he came up with a good kick. This is why there was a little bit of a loose arm around the throat, which is why we saw Teddy Sadoui getting some attention in back play. He got on with the job. The last time we saw a good kick, it was a 40-20 kick from Maxime Gresek. This time we've seen an absolute pinpoint accurate kick into the end goal. Last time it created a try. The French will be looking for the same outcome here as Remy Castry rips into them.
Got good distance on the dropout though, and Castry has to come from in his own half, and he's lost the ball one-on-one. That was great work there from Mick Nannin, who's made something of a trademark of that in the National League this season. Here is Chris Armitt then for Scotland. That's given the Braveheart supporters some heart. Castry's error. This is Patterson. Now Kevin Henderson, 3 in there for France, led by the shape there of Olivier Elima. Oliver Wilkes now.
We're getting word that Duncan McGilvray's not worried. It's just a bang. He'll be back for the second half. So it's important that the Scots hammer home here. Wouldn't it be lovely for them to go in 18-12 and take some advantage of this great field position?
Ricochet from Henderson. There was a sniff of a chance there for Gavin Cowan, and work for Jared Taylor to do. He's done really well to evade that first tackle. Christophe Molly now.
It's an important period. They're in good shape here, the Scottish. If they can really get in and force an error, they're going to get some good opportunities late in this half. They really need to keep themselves in good attention.
Less than 4 minutes to go. This is James Wynne, who's been impressive since his introduction. Greg Muniz goes to pick up the pieces, and it's John Steele who effects the tackle. Wynne Steele again with some good work from Marker.
Outside.
Kick, a great kick as well. Chosen to touch on that far side, and Thomas Bosk knows there isn't much time left in this first half. The perfect play.
Didn't that tell you a lot about what both teams were thinking there? Bosk jumped out with a lot of times. There wasn't much pressure on him. He could have come up with any kick. He opted for the banana kick into the corner. And Michael Robertson, again at fullback, had a lot of time. Bosk was looking for touch. Robertson was letting him have it. He said, we'll take the ball from the scrum. We'll let the clock take up a bit of time. Give our forwards a rest. We'll see what we can come up with in this set. So both sides are really feeling the pinch. And it's forgivable. You know, they've had a couple of weeks off, most of these players, bordering on a month off from football. Some of them a little bit longer than that, so it's always very hard, that first half. Funnily enough, when you get your second win, the second half comes a little bit more naturally to you. Your timing comes a little bit more naturally to you. Yeah, it's not desperate times for the Scot. In fact, their enthusiasm tells you that they're going to probably come out and have a real crack at this second half. 18-12 would be nice, 18-6 would be acceptable.
John Duffy on the fourth tackle. It's a good kick if it stays in the field of play. Doesn't, and so France restart on the 20-metre line.
Ben, very dangerous set this. Very dangerous set for the Scottish. Late in the half, they've already shown that they tire if you work their middle over for long periods. If the French can get to tackle 3, tackle 4 with the Scottish forwards not in dominant position, they'll look to pour through those middle areas. Scotland have really got to be not thinking about the clock. They're really thinking about keeping themselves on their feet and pushing hard into half-time here.
Sebastian Ragan plays the ball.
Sorry, I was going to say, Gressick looks particularly excited in that middle part of the field. They're looking to get some forwards at the tired forwards. He's smelling an opportunity, and here's the one he's looking for right now. He wants to work off this play.
Elima on halfway for the French. James Wynne. Bosk. Muniz for Justin Murphy this time. Murphy looking to stay in the field of play. He's offloaded the ball, and Wilson does achieve that.
Come on.
Bosk.
Outside.
Kick over the top. Looking for touch again. Michael Robertson suggesting that he hasn't touched that.
20.
Scotland can sense that 40 seconds left. They need to get on with this. But they'll have to attack from deep in their own half here. McNanny, another substitute for Steve McCormack tonight.
Quickly, 40!
A few calls in no way from the Frenchman. That was why. That's the wrong decision. That ball stayed in the field of play. Actually, the touch judge doesn't get the same view as us.
Strong run coming in there from Ian Henderson. Danny Brough, crossfield kick, but completely square of where he was. This is the last play for Scotland, and Dean Colton hacks ahead. There's only him chasing this, and France able to pick up the ball in the shape there of Jared Taylor. Well, they have had the better of this first half.